Hey there, welcome to Tennille Talks. So, this specific reading is about a false family that seeks to make amends, but they're only wanting to make amends with you because they missed an opportunity to pretty much destroy you, right? And it was in every attempt that they took to cause you harm that they realized nothing was working. And it was your spiritual protection, your spiritual connection, and your spiritual stability that enlighten them to the fact that you are in fact connected to your divine path. And once you are walking in alignment with your divinity, you almost have an insurance policy that kicks in. And that insurance policy is a shield of divine defense, right? And so as long as you continue to walk your path upright, without self-sabotaging, without allowing people to come in to sabotage you, you have a level of protection that nothing can permeate, okay? And so specifically for this reading, I'm seeing a Libra. Now, a Libra is an air sign, and so if this is not a Libra, this could be a Gemini or possibly an Aquarius. Nonetheless, there is a Libra from your past that may be a former partner, family member, spouse, or lover that is currently overwhelmed with obligations. They are feeling lonely. They are facing poverty. And it is this past air sign that was selfish. They caused you injustices. And they had no honor, no humility, no integrity with how they dealt with you. And they could have caused you some form of poverty or lack in your past. And their goal was for you to forever be a beggar. They wanted you to always need. They wanted you to, whether it was going to them or going to others. And I'm feeling like the things that they spoke over you, this is how they wanted everybody else to believe and think about you as well, right? So their desire for you, unfortunately, is about to become or has already become their reality, right? And so this is kind of like be careful what you wish for, or, don't speak against those that are anointed or those that are chosen for something specifically. And sometimes the people on your path are sent to you, and I've said this before, to truly meet and understand who God is. And in this situation, it was the way that God moved through you in your life. Although they tried to bring you opposition, the fact that you did not break, the fact that you stand strong once again, this is how people start to meet God and understand God, right? And you, for whatever reason they decided, you were their opposition. You were an enemy of theirs. And so the attacks, the effort that they put out to cause you to crumble, it was really a war against God. And so, we don't ever celebrate the downfall of another, but this is what's happening. This is giving me the feeling of Pharaoh and Exodus, where all Pharaoh had to do was to just let the Jews go. Right? But the heart of Pharaoh was so cold and so hard, and his mind was made up. And so plague after plague, death after death, losing the firstborn, right? None of it was enough to get Pharaoh to turn away because he was so convinced, right? And he had a level of conviction that he just couldn't let go of, even if it caused him pain, even if it caused him remorse and loss and sadness and grief. Even those feelings were not enough to change his heart. And so sometimes it does take complete devastation. It does take the crumbling of your life's infrastructure for you to really just build yourself up from the ground, from the rubble. And so this is almost like the persona or the core of a person is about to be shattered in the way that they wanted you to be shattered. And so this too is God's will. This too is divine design. And so the things that you have endured, you never left God. You never forsake God. And somehow, after everything that you went through, you still made it to your divine path. And so obviously the hope is for everyone to be able to do that, without completely ridding themselves of their divinity. And so it's your growth and your self-love, your self-healing, and your independence that has caused a natural disaster to those that never wanted you to prosper. Okay? And so your superpower is love. And the way you double down on that superpower is giving yourself that love, right? Loving yourself the way God loves you. And this is how you overcame. This is how you will continue to overcome any opposition that steps into your sphere. And the goal was to get you to surrender, to give up, and to be stuck in some type of emotional frenzy. Now, listen, our emotions are our teachers, but they can totally be the tools that bring us to our knees, right? So, our emotions are indicators of things that are happening either externally or internally. And the idea is if you take every emotion as Bible and if you follow it through and through, most likely devastation is going to occur because emotions are just indicators. They are not facts. They are not direct routes to an outcome, right? They are just signals. They are signaling you. And so they arise to get you to reflect, to get you to use your intuition, to get you to be logical. And so there's a certain amount of rage, passion, and fire that you possibly possess that they almost wanted you to turn in on yourself by a way of causing you emotional damage, right? I may have mentioned this at some point in another reading, but, and I'm going to link this guy. And so there was an African warlock who talks about the moment he's saved or, no longer in the dark arts, but he talks about the moment you are provoked to anger, they've got you, right? And so people can do very subtle things to get you to be angry, and they continue to poke and poke and poke. They will gaslight, they will lie, they will ignore. I mean, it is an art. And mean people, disrespectful people, every time that they offend you, that is an intention. They are choosing. Nobody offends you by mistake, right? They have chosen to do that again and again and again and again. And it's because they're looking for a certain amount of response for you. They want your energy to rise, right? Because that is when you are your most vulnerable. That is when you are most weak. And so when you feel yourself starting to kind of get hot, that is your indication that something externally or internally is responding, to an outside force, and you need to cool down. It is your moment to show yourself how good you can actually master yourself, and reveal to yourself the level of control that you have over you. And so I want you to be mindful of your emotions, and when you feel them start to rise or fall, or when you realize that your thoughts are starting to become a little more negative or fearful, I want you to realize that the possibility that something is being projected onto you to make you respond that way is very much true, right? And it doesn't always have to be in front of your face and happening. There are many ways to get projections to stick to you in order to get you to respond to them and to consider them as fact. So the goal was to get you to surrender, to give up on yourself, to relinquish your self-control, to relinquish your self-love, right? And it was by attacking your emotions that they were going to get you to forfeit your level of mastery, okay? And so, causing these blockages was supposed to stop you from ever progressing. Your intuition, your flow, your internal waters were to be muddled with chaos, right? You were to find relief in your own essence, or you found relief in your own essence. And you persevered over this plot during the lowest times. Think of your lowest times. The way you persevered is because you chose yourself over all others. Listen, when we're in relationships and connections with people, we can't control them. They are not always going to treat us right, or speak to us right, or respect us, or honor us, right? Or be truthful. Their intentions are not always going to be pure. And the reality is that they were given free will. And the way they use their free will, it has nothing to do with you until it's time for you to respond. Right? And so when somebody is causing you an injustice, you can either become angry that that is how they've chosen to treat you, or you can respond by positioning yourself away from them, severing the tie, severing the connection, right? The way they treat you is an indication of how they should play into your reality, if they should even have a position at all. And so people really aren't doing anything wrong. You know, it's not they're wrong, I'm right. No, it's like this is wrong. Meaning this existence, this version of myself when I'm opposite you is not who I really am. And so in order to have a relationship with you, if I have to be broken, if I have to be beaten, if I have to lose emotional control, if I'm not allowed to heal myself and love myself, then this relationship is not aligned with my divine path. Okay? And so this is how you start to get rid of people. And I don't care how old they are. I don't care how long you've known them. I don't care who they claim to be in your existence. The way they treat you and your emotions and the indicators and the signals that you get in their presence, or just even at the thought of them, will tell you whether or not they are a part of your divine path. You owe no one anything. And when you're ready to cut them off, when you're ready to walk away, you don't have to explain them. You don't have to explain to them why. You don't have to get them to understand. It doesn't have to be a conversation. You simply stop. You stop. And so this is a situation where you did stop. You did cut people off. And I think that infuriated them even more. And so the attacks picked up. And the fact that nothing was able to pierce your shield makes these people want to circle back around, because now they realize that there's something about you that will never be true about them. And so you did persevere over this plot again and again and again because you chose you. And so when people reject you and disrespect you, they are not choosing you. And that's okay, because that is their free will. Now, the longer you stay, the more fucked up you'll be. Right? And so your ability to respond before you are shattered is important and imperative. And so this King of Swords, possibly air sign, maybe a Libra, is thinking of a court case. So there could be a legal situation with this guy. Now let's just talk about, in tarot, the King of Swords sometimes is going to be a divorced man, and the Queen of Swords is a divorced woman. So this could be somebody that maybe you were going through a legal separation with. It could be in business. Nonetheless, this person has some type of legal situation that's happening. And because of the connection to you that has been severed, because they have no way back into your energy, this person is becoming to feel a little uneasy, right? And so you are coming up as an introvert, somebody that possibly has an online presence, or the way you connect to the world is not by going to big events with large groups of people, having a big friend circle, right? You kind of find your little secret communities, and I say secret just because you don't have a large presence, or you're not concerned with having the biggest circle, but you kind of find your pockets of people that align with you, and you kind of connect that way. And none of these people may be in your physical environment. These could be online communities that you've created or that you're just a part of. But nonetheless, this person is imagining your strength, your ability to transition from bad health to health, right? This air sign is frightened and paranoid and depressed about the history of your connection together. And so now this person is almost going down memory lane thinking about you. Right? And so before, when they thought about you, they could only see the things that they determined were flaws. They could only think of all the reasons why they wanted to attack you and why they continue to attack you. But now, because your energy is cut off from them, and now because nothing they do to you is causing you any type of harm or injury, now they're starting to remember the good qualities about you and about the attributes and the asset that you are to others. And so if you have cut this person out of your life, well, then who have you allowed to be in your life? What is giving you strength? What is giving you health? What is giving you clarity, right? And so this is where people start to think about the good that you have done for them and the fact that you may be sharing the best parts of yourself with somebody outside of them. The King of Swords, he imagined that the benefit or the outcome of what he was doing to you would turn him into this King of Pentacles. So the King of Swords is possibly a masculine figure that is very cerebral and logical and intellectual, a good communicator, right? Now, whether they use their tongue to cause harm or to help is a different version, but this is somebody that is quick thinking. They typically do not wear their heart on their sleeve. They look at everything very black and white, no emotion involved. And so it was this person that wanted, logically in their mind, to become the King of Pentacles, somebody that was financially stable. They had large amounts of money that they could invest, that they could build, that they could grow. This is somebody that wanted to be seen as a financial force, right? Possibly an investor of some kind. And so you were the road to their wealth. It was you who was going to be used to almost get them to level up, or get them to have this promotion. And so securing your energy is what would have elevated them. But because your boundaries are so firm and because they have been denied your energy, this is where this person gets worried. This is where this person, so maybe this person has legal situations that they have to pay for certain things. And they felt like, oh, let me just go to the bank and withdraw, AKA you are the bank. And the withdrawal is your energy. It's your divinity that you are not using because you are emotionally irate as a result of what they did to you, right? And so these are the plots and the plans that this person has come up with. But when he goes to the bank to withdraw, as he's done in the past, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. They have access to nothing. And so this is the game changer. And this is where people want to come back around, but they want to come back in an energy that's somehow humble. You know, they want to show their human side. They want to demonstrate some type of morality, and it's false. They're just thinking, okay, so the first approach isn't going to work anymore. This person totally gets it. Let me just put my other mask on and let me make an attempt to enter this way, right? Let me go through the back door instead of the front door. Right? And so this person is gambling. They're gambling, and they're hoping that you don't recognize this. So I'm looking at my notes. So this King of Swords is attached to a community of some sort. And so what is happening to this King of Swords, this person will not feel all by themselves. Anybody that followed them or that participated or believed what they said about you or assisted them in attacking you, it is that group too that will also suffer in the same way this person is about to suffer, right? And so Pharaoh wasn't alone. When Pharaoh chased the Jews and chased Moses, I mean, Pharaoh had an entire army with them. And so anybody that agreed to follow Pharaoh too had to perish and suffer the consequences. And so there is a specific community that this air sign is a part of that not only will watch this person go through their demise and their own personal fall, but then these people are going to feel the aftershock based on the role that they played in this situation. And so the end of this community is literally unfolding, and its members are plagued by health issues. This literally is giving me the Exodus, right? When the plagues, and it's just crazy. You know, biblically speaking, I'm not a Christian, but the stories, I bet you all of us can possibly pick just a handful of biblical stories and kind of put ourselves in the shoes of the characters and just watch this play out in our own lives. Because one thing is that humans are going to be humans, right? And the way we show up and the way we live in these bodies, these vessels, these machines, and the way the ego works, and the way the heart and the mind sometimes battle, and the way the dark and the light inside of us battle, it really impacts the whole human story. And so this is really giving me Exodus. And unfortunately for this community, there is no escaping for them. And so the fate of the Pharaoh, this King of Swords, this leader who imagined that they would become this King of Pentacles, is also the fate of those that followed him. So prayer and fasting. If this community never prayed or fasted before, they are praying and they are fasting now, right? Because they want a different outcome. They see that the end is near, and God knows they don't want it to hit them in the way that they intended for it to hit you. These people followed this King of Swords and, believed that he was their answer for prosperity, for growth, and for abundance. And everything is unfolding and crumbling. This King of Pentacles, potential King of Pentacles, he imagined that he would hit the jackpot. He would experience luck. He would have wealth. But the King of Pentacles was blocked. So we get the Seven of Wands. And this is that energy of that spiritual defense system, right? They can't get through the door. They can't get you to respond, whether it's to respond to a text, respond to an email, or to emote a specific emotion. They can't get you to respond. And every time you answer the phone, respond to a text, respond to an email, or show, anytime you give them anything, it's like putting a drop of blood in the water when you know there are sharks are near. Now they're swarm because they want more. And so when you cut them off and you show no signs of ever opening that door again, it is devastating, especially if you were a source of income. You were a bank. They could plug into you at any time and they would use the same tactics. They would use the same methods. They would send people in your direction, right, to keep their hands hidden. All the while they were connected to this agenda, essentially to cause you to bleed, a slow leak, to bleed out so that they could feed on you. It's really disgusting when you kind of think about it. So the King of Pentacles imagined that this would bring them wealth, but they were blocked. You are spiritually protected, and your level of endurance and stability is top notch because you are on your spiritual journey. And think about this. What was life like prior to walking on your journey upright, right? And think about the things that you've endured. And some of their attacks were successful, but that was to get you to wake up and to find your path. And so not every attack missed you. There's no way. And many of them had to connect in order to get you to connect to the life that you were truly supposed to be living. And so this community is realizing that their blessings, the benefits of following this individual and attacking you, it's over. It's over. It's like watching a car crash in slow motion, and nobody can stop it. Nobody can do anything about it. Now, there is a mature woman that is a part of this situation. And so I don't know what role this mature woman plays. I don't know if this mature woman has a connection to you. I don't know if she was almost like the eyes on the inside that was kind of giving them information, allowing them to think that all of these attempts would somehow be successful, but somehow they are blaming a specific, and it came out as mature woman. They are blaming a mature woman for the outcome. So whether this could be the priestess or, the witch or whoever they went to, I feel like now they're turning in on themselves, right? This is somebody that they trusted, that would help them get to an end goal. And it didn't happen. And so instead of realizing that they are actually battling God, instead of being accountable and responsible for their own false behaviors, now they're just going to blame whoever it is that they entrusted to get them the financial promotion that they were looking for. Now, I also got the energy of Uranus. And so the transit of Uranus happens every 7 years, and Uranus is also connected to the Fool card in tarot. So Uranus represents revolution, radical change, sudden and complete change, right? Uranus also rules Aquarius, so there's our air sign connection. And in astrology, Aquarius sustains the community. And so I don't know if these people use the element and the energy of Uranus and the transits of planets to kind of decide when to begin certain attacks and how long an attack or an cycle can go on for. But Uranus transits every 7 years. And so obviously, we're talking about a revolution, a sudden change. And so this was unpredictable. This outcome, nobody saw this coming. And it's almost like this community was shut down, and literally, quite possibly, they could have been harvesting or doing this behavior in the life of you or someone you know for 7 years. And so this means that the way planets move and the energy of the planet, it's open to all of us to use in the way that we see fit. And so where you are now compared to where you are 7 years ago, I imagine that you're walking upright now, but you could have been loose prior. You may not have known what you know now. You definitely were not walking on your divine path. And this is when it could have started. And so they could have known almost like what your future holds for you. Who were you to be in the eyes of God, right? And because you were so far from what they knew about you, they decided that that would have been a perfect time to kind of harvest you. But they never expected you to get on your path. I think they thought that this would be a continuous meal ticket. You were their meal ticket. You were supposed to be just an endless source of energy for them to be able to harvest and to use. And so 7 years ago, like, what year was 7 years ago? Where were you living? What were you doing? Who were you dating? Did you marry someone? Where were you working? How was your health? What was your mind like? Did you have any addictions? Like, truly think about where you were 7 years ago. And I want you to walk that path to whatever day and time it is that you hear this message, and think about your growth and what you lived in your life 7 years ago. I bet you it's going to look very different than what you're living and standing for now. And kudos to you. And it's this shift in the unpredictable change. I said this is connected to the Fool card in tarot, and this is about taking a leap of faith, essentially doing it afraid, not really having the tools or thinking you don't have the tools, but then realizing that all journeys begin and anything you need you will acquire along the way. And so at some point you jump to timeline. Right? And so now they no longer have access to the version of you that was so juicy and fruitful for them. Thank you so much for coming to Tennille Talks. I'll see you on the next one.